is Maritza Guridy. She's a parent from Philadelphia. She's going to give the message for why we're here today, and then we'll move on with the rest of the program. But Maritza's going to kick us off. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Maritza Guridy. I am a proud parent of public school children from Philadelphia. I am also the Deputy Director of Parent Voice for the National Parents Union. I have three that have successfully completed their educational careers in the Philadelphia Public School District. I also have two little ones that are rising second graders in the District of Philadelphia. Right now, our public education system is in a crisis. Vouchers are not the answer we are looking for. Vouchers will hurt children and taxpayers. If one of my neighbors sends their child to another school, that will make the school district worse for my niece, that is currently a rising 10th grader, my two rising second graders, and my grandson that will be in kindergarten in September of 2024. Vouchers take away from public schools and will harm students who remain in underfunded district schools. Our children must be prepared. Children that are educated are our future leaders, caretakers, and voters. We cannot deprive them of a strong education by creating a system of the haves and have-nots. That's not the world that I want for my children and my grandson and all of our children currently attending public schools who have the right to receive a quality education without having to pay for it by taking away resources from public education. Nuestros niños merecen una educación pública de alta calidad. Los vales escolares quitan el derecho de nuestros niños en una educación para que reciban una educación pública equitativa. Rather than creating a new way to funnel money out of our public schools and to benefit a few families, why not make the existing system better for all of our children? My children have had good experiences in public school. They may not have been perfect, but by working in partnership with educators and school leaders, they have been prepared. I believe that all children deserve a higher quality public education. A lot of public schools' curriculums are more controlled by people who don't want a child to have a well-rounded, unbiased education, public education. The children in public school are subject to some of the children in private schools, are subject to someone else's criteria and curriculum, whereas in public education, parents also have a say. In public school, I have formed transparent relationships with my children's educators and school leaders. This has helped me to be able to maintain a good and healthy learning environment for my children. A public education is free, as it should be. The vouchers that are being proposed are at the cost of resources of children who cannot get the vouchers. This is something that as a parent I cannot support. Why make public education adversarial? Why must public tax dollars be used to put a child in a private school? Do not take out of public school my tax dollars. Invest in parents and families like mine by investing in public education. Thank you.
So for the members of the press and those gathered, the people standing in front of you today are here from a number of organizations. I'm Donna Cooper, and I'm with the PA Schools Work Campaign, and there are other members of the PA Schools Work Campaign here who will be speaking to you directly. In addition, we have labor leaders here with us today from the Teachers Union, both the AFT and the Pennsylvania State Education Association and the AFL-CIO. There are other unions that have also stepped up to express their opposition to the creation of the voucher program, including the statewide Askey and the statewide Building Trades Union. There are other organizations from PA Schools Work who would not be here with us today, but we're expressing their point of view. And behind us are children, the children that we're talking about, from the Hanover School District, from the Harrisburg School District, from the Lancaster School District, the school districts that will be directly injured by the creation of the vouchers. That is being proposed and negotiated at this point. It's my pleasure to introduce Deborah Klehr, the Executive Director of the Education Law Center.
On February 7, 2023, Commonwealth Court issued a groundbreaking decision declaring Pennsylvania's school funding system unconstitutional. The court ruled that education is a fundamental right guaranteed by our state constitution to all school-aged children residing in the Commonwealth. Just last week, the court reaffirmed its decision by denying legislative respondents' motion for post-trial relief. Last week's opinion reads, quote, "This court now tasks respondents with the challenge of delivering a system of public education that the Pennsylvania Constitution requires, one that provides for every student to receive a meaningful opportunity to succeed academically, socially, and civically, which requires that all students have access to a comprehensive, effective, and contemporary system of public education." In its original 786-page opinion and its most recent order, the court did not say that the General Assembly can comply with its legal obligations and the court's decision by redirecting funds needed for public education to private schools. Any claim that the court's mandate can be met by funding private schools ignores plain language of the ruling and our Constitution. The court repeatedly references that constitutional requirements mandated by our state constitution relate to the system of public education. Funding private schools with public dollars will not move the Commonwealth a single dollar closer to its constitutional mandate, because the mandate is clear. The General Assembly must support and maintain a contemporary, effective public education system that is available to every child in the Commonwealth, regardless of their school district's local wealth. Private school voucher programs divert hundreds of millions of dollars away from public schools. Private school voucher programs support private schools that can discriminate against students and are not required to serve students with disabilities, English learners, or students who identify as LGBTQ. Private school voucher programs will leave public schools more underfunded and more racially segregated. Our state constitution demands a system that serves all students and that provides them with a public education and a meaningful opportunity to succeed academically, socially, and civically. That is what our Constitution and the court's ruling demands. The work must start now with significant new investments for underfunded public schools in low-wealth communities in this year's state budget. Our children can't wait.
We would be very interested in taking questions from the press when we end the program, specifically about the fact that the lawsuit is not addressed by the move that is being considered by the House, by the Senate and the Governor at this point. One of the questions is why have vouchers? And we're very pleased that another member of the PA Schools Work Campaign, Marc Stier from the Pennsylvania Policy Center here, is here to talk a little bit about why not.
Thank you, Donna. I'm here today with my fellow advocates for education, including leaders of unions and teachers who have dedicated their lives to our children to speak against the Lifeline Scholarship Program. The advocates for that program say it will not take money from our public schools. This argument is thoroughly disingenuous. While money from the program comes from the general fund, not from individual school districts, Republicans keep reminding us that general fund revenues are non-limited. Any funding that goes to the Lifeline Scholarship Program will come from revenues that have accumulated surplus that are needed to meet our constitutional and moral responsibility to provide fair and full funding of our public schools, and then also to keep our local property taxes from rising too fast. Republicans who oppose getting more money for public schools keep warning us about a future state spending crunch. When it comes to their priorities, such as Lifeline scholarships and corporate tax cuts, as well as the huge $340 million subsidy for private schools in the already existing EITC and OSTC programs, they forget those warnings. And not to anyone's surprise, their priorities mainly benefit the richest Pennsylvanians. obviously true for corporate tax cuts, but it's also true for the EITC and OSTC programs and for lifeline scholarships as well. For the simple reason that individual parents will have to spend their own funds in addition to any vouchers they get to afford the best private schools in the state. The evidence we have from other states that have enacted proposals like lifeline scholarships shows that they have failed in multiple ways. A recent comprehensive analysis of voucher programs in a number of U.S. cities and states shows that they do not significantly improve student achievement. Moreover, this research shows that any improvement in education in states that have enacted vouchers has come from accountability programs that were adopted for all schools, public and private. Yet there is nothing in this legislation or in our charter school rules that provide that kind of accountability that we need to ensure that public money is spent well. The lack of accountability has led those schools that are funded by vouchers not only to not provide a superior education, but too often to discriminate on the basis of race, religion, and disability status, to fail to teach the basics of civic education, and sometimes to teach sectarian ideas that are absolutely contrary to our Constitution. And even worse, voucher-funded schools with little or no accountability have a long history of malfeasance, of misspending of state funds, and of outright corruption. This has been found in voucher programs enacted in Arizona, Florida, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Washington, D.C. Public schools bring diverse students together so that they can learn to live and work together. They try to bring everyone, no matter what they look like and how much they have, up to a level that all of our students must achieve. And they teach the civic ideals that most of us cherish. They've been doing that in Pennsylvania since a young state representative who became the greatest Republican legislator in our history, Donna Stevens, pushed the law creating public schools through the General Assembly in 1834. We need to rededicate ourselves to Stevens' firm belief that public education will give every child in our state an equal opportunity not just to make the best of their own lives, but to contribute to the lives of their fellow Pennsylvanians.
So I mentioned that a number of unions have spoken out on the issue of creating the vouchers, and we're going to hear from them. But it's also important for members of the press to understand that the Superintendent's Association, the School Boards Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Rural and Small Schools, the Pennsylvania Association of Intermediate Units have all gone on record, and the Pennsylvania Association of Principals have all gone on record to say now is not the time for this building to be discussing vouchers, that the needs of our public schools are too great, and that needs to be put first and foremost. And so we're very, very grateful today that Beth Sviben is with us, and she is a school board member from the Central Dauphin School.
In 2023, our district was funded 65% by local resources, meaning taxes, property taxes, and funded 35% by federal and state resources. Think of that comparison and the weight of school funding that Central Dauphin School District residents shoulder. And when the state fails to fund our schools, Central Dauphin residents step up and pay higher property taxes, because this is what our community's children need. In my 4 years on the board, we have raised taxes 2 times in order to try to keep up with staffing shortages and technology and other needs. I have advocated for additional state funding for public education from the beginning of my time on the board, and I have said from the beginning we need to get away from the notion that school boards solely list the levy taxes Bureau and the legislature to reject the Lake Grant scholarships and any other school voucher program that will funnel dollars away from public education. There is no way to create a voucher system that does not take away money from public education. Every state tax dollar that would be directed into a family's bank account to pay their child's private school tuition is a dollar that cannot be invested in public schools. It is a dollar that residents of the Central Dauphin School District, and the other school district, in the Commonwealth, are hoping to make up by paying higher property taxes to fund their local schools. We don't need a new school voucher program. We need the legislature to fund our public schools. I thank all the other advocates. I thank Mr. Askey for his service to public education. I was honored to be here today. Let's continue to fight for public education.
Yeah.
So just to echo a point, in terms of school board's opposition and the school business officer's opposition to moving this now, when this bill moves, every school board in this state will have to confront the decisions associated with the implications of vouchers, both increasing property taxes and losing funding to their school district for every parent who chooses to send their kid to a private school. So I mentioned a few of the unions that have already spoken out on this issue, and we're going to hear from them, but I want to be clear about this list. The Pennsylvania State Education Association, the American Federation of Teachers of Pennsylvania, Local 1776, United for the Commercial Workers, 32BJ, SEIU, Askey, Council 13 statewide, and the Pennsylvania AFL-CIO. And I want to thank Angie Fetterman very much for being here today to stand with us. Now, these unions took their lead from the experts who understand what a voucher program will mean for public schools. And they are the people who are representing the teachers and the school personnel that every day have the responsibility of educating the next generation. It's my pleasure to ask Terry Jordan of the Pennsylvania Federation of Teachers to describe their union's opposition to the vouchers.
Good afternoon and thank you. I know it's June, but I want us to all remember a critical day in February that set us on a new, better path forward for all our young people. On February 7th, 2023, Judge Renee Kahn-Dumoulin ruled definitively on an issue that those of us who have been in this fight for a while know in our bones. The way we fund public education in this Commonwealth is unconstitutional, it is immoral. And Judge Dumoulin has now, with finality, ordered executive and legislative branches of government to address this decades-long system of neglect. So it's a lot troublesome to me. To our 13,000 members, to the advocates standing here today, and to all who care deeply about the future of public education in our great Commonwealth, that we would be standing here once again to rally against a voucher scheme that would siphon money from public education. It is outrageous to think that instead of moving full steam ahead with the urgency that this moment requires, there are voucher bills floating about the legislature. Bills that actually take money from public education rather than adhere to Judge Dumoulin's rule. So let me just remind us all what vouchers do not do. Vouchers do not reinvest in a system of public education that for decades has been underfunded. Vouchers do not provide desperately needed resources for all students across the Commonwealth, regardless of their race, their gender identity, their religion, or their disability. Vouchers do not remediate the toxic school buildings that are quite literally poisoning our young people. Vouchers do not actually address student outcomes and achievement. and vouchers certainly do not address inequities in school funding that they are purported to address. I could go on, but let me tell you just some of what vouchers do. Voucher programs often discriminate against students based on myriad factors. Vouchers go half the time to students whose families earn more than $200,000 per year. Vouchers go a majority of the time to students who would already be attending private schools. And vouchers do unequivocally wreak havoc on school districts and decimate public education. The research is clear on this. It is incumbent upon every lawmaker in our great Commonwealth, every state representative, every state senator, and Governor Josh Shapiro to double down on their commitment to enacting what Judge Dubilier ordered on February 7th. It is time to fully fund public education in Pennsylvania. Not only because the judge ordered it so, but because our children and educators need and deserve it. This is the future for our children, our grandchildren, and every Pennsylvania resident. I thank you.
In the legislature think that the school funding crisis is simply a funding crisis in the city of Philadelphia. We're very grateful today that Arthur Steinberg is here, the president of the American Federation of Teachers of Pennsylvania, to speak to the implications of the voucher bill on all the school districts represented by that union across the state.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, and I really would like to welcome all of the distinguished advocates that are up here today to speak to this very important issue. As the president of AFT Pennsylvania, State Federation, representing 36,000 teachers, paraprofessionals, school staff, higher education faculty, and state workers in 64 local unions across the Commonwealth, I also have the pleasure of counting among Donna, but the hardworking educators from Pennsylvania's two largest districts, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. But make no mistake, this has a negative impact on every local we serve, from the rural to the suburban communities. During the 40 years, our schools were well on our way to being hollowed out. $1 billion cut from public education, unaccountable charters popping up to replace neighborhood schools, an expansion of the educational improvement tax credit, and then the implementation of the Opportunity Scholarship tax credit. By the way, just right now, before this expansion, they're funded to the tune of $390 million. Just think what that could do across the Commonwealth to keeping tax rates down and increasing staff at schools and remediating structural conditions. After our members and the members of the organizations gathered here stood up and said, "No more," we were able to stem the downward trajectory of public education funding across Pennsylvania. We elected a governor who made historic investments in public education. We worked to get the legislature to adopt a fair funding formula, at least for new money. And we and our allies, as you heard in the court, successfully sued the state and the inequity of Pennsylvania's public education system declared unconstitutional barriers. The COVID-19 pandemic shone a light into these inequities. Wealthier school districts were more nimble than their lesser funded neighbors. The condition of the physical school buildings often determined how quickly students and educators could re-enter the classroom safely. And we saw how districts with adequate mental health and counseling resources fared much better than those without. Right now is the time to invest more into our schools, not less. And despite what those who made the voucher say, there is literally no way mathematically to send money to private and religious institutions without harming school districts. It is a farce. And vouchers offer a false choice. In Indiana, students in private school voucher programs experienced significant losses in achievement in math and saw no improvement in reading. In Louisiana, students who started in public schools and transferred to private voucher schools dropped from 50th percentile to 26% in one single year. Vouchers lack accountability. Most private schools, even those receiving taxpayer-funded vouchers money do not have to meet state standards for curriculum or certification qualifications, by the way. This is also true here in Pennsylvania. Schools that enroll students under state-funded tax voucher programs are not required to provide any information on student achievement, testing, or demographics. Again, to repeat, no accountability whatsoever for how taxpayer money is being spent. Private school vouchers, as you heard before, increase segregation. Particularly in Arizona, the wealthiest students receive most of the money in the tuition tax program, leading to increased economic segregation. The Department of Justice has sued the state of Louisiana because its voucher program may have violated the segregation. And finally, as we said over and over, vouchers take money away from neighborhood public schools. One study estimates the cost associated with vouchers could raise public education costs by 25% or more. In fact, Milwaukee had to raise property taxes several times in order to ensure adequate funding for the city schools after they implemented their voucher program. We educators are experts at teaching children and in developing our next generation of citizens. We also believe that every child in the Commonwealth deserves a shot at a life with quality public education. And what we know is that aside from draining funds from our schools, vouchers don't work. They do not work. This budget, and including this for education, is a moral document. Thank you.
So members of the press probably know that the Lifeline Scholarship Bill that has the support of the governor at this point and is being proffered by the Senate Republicans will not benefit most of the children in this state because they do not attend a school that is a bottom 15% performing. It is a very targeted hit in certain communities. And in doing that, the state is concentrating the use of private schools and expanding private school enrollment in those communities. And that's what makes the fact that the Pennsylvania State Education Association is speaking out on this issue so important. So many of the school districts that they represent will not be directly affected by vouchers. But their schools, just like the schools that will be directly affected, the school district directly affected by this voucher program, will lose resources. And there's certainly the implication that it will harm these districts as we make a dramatic policy shift away from ensuring that every child attends a public school. We are so grateful that Rich Askey, the president of the Pennsylvania State Education Association, is here with us today.
So good afternoon, everybody. Before I start my remarks, we appreciate everybody who's here today supporting our message. But there's some young people behind me who I'm so proud of today because they are here. It's their summer. They don't have to be here, and they are here advocating for their own education. So I'm going to step away from the mic for a few seconds, and let's give some recognition to our young people. All right, so as I was introduced, Rich Askey, president of the Pennsylvania State Education Association. I am so honored to represent 177,000 educators and support professionals who teach and serve students in Pennsylvania's public schools. We're all standing here today to send one simple, clear, and consistent message. We are absolutely opposed to tuition vouchers. No matter what you call them, tuition vouchers, in whatever form they may take, siphon precious tax dollars from the public schools that serve 1.7 million Pennsylvania students and give them to private and religious schools. In fact, there is absolutely no way to create a tuition voucher program that doesn't take money away from public schools. Absolutely no way. Just a few months ago, as you heard, the Commonwealth Court concluded, after a very lengthy trial, that our public school funding system is so broken and unfair that it violates the state constitution. fixing this and building a system that passes constitutional muster will likely take billions of new state dollars. That means that every dime we have, every bit of focus and attention, every moment of time, and every ounce of energy must be directed to making sure that our public school funding system is adequate, equitable, fair, and, yes, constitutional. The organizations represented on this stage today exist to teach, serve, and support public school education, and support the men and women who spend their lives and livelihoods delivering the power of a great education. We will not, I repeat, we will not tolerate any misguided tuition voucher scheme that distracts from that mission, hurts our public school students, and wastes taxpayer money on an idea that has never worked and never will. I'm calling on every elected official in this building to do the right thing and oppose tuition vouchers in any form, no matter what you call them. Our public school students don't have a moment to waste on this nonsense. Now let's get to work on passing a budget that supports them and our public schools. Thank you.
So we've heard from management, School Boards Association, a school board member, and we know that the School Boards Association is going on record as well as the superintendents. We've heard from unions. We've heard from parents. We have the future students here. The case is clear and unanimous that Pennsylvania is not served by putting vouchers forward. I want to make one statement to close this, and then we'll take questions from the press. Earlier this week, our governor was on Fox News, and he talked about the fact that every child of God deserves a quality education. These children attending the Lancaster, the Harrisburg, and the Hanover public school system. Our governor made a clarion call in his inaugural address, and he said that, and I apologize, it will take me a second to read this because of the way my phone is, that only by setting a table of opportunity and inviting all to sit and partake can we advance the cause of real freedom, the freedom that will keep this nation safe from tyranny and domestic terrorism, the kind of real freedom that comes when we devote real resources to that young child's public schools to make sure that she and he, every child attending public school, has a shot. That's what the governor told us he would do on Inauguration Day. That is what we are asking for him, every member of the Senate, every member of the House to unite behind. Get focused, get done, fund the schools, and stop the craziness with vouchers right now. I'll take questions from the press or anybody here. Hearing none, I think we made a very good case. I appreciate the reporters coming, and please, those of you who are here as part of this fight, there are many days until this budget is done, and we will be here every day trying to make sure the focus stays on public schools. Thank you.